The perfect Thanksgiving turkey. A lot of people struggle to get a moist, flavorful, and yes, even a beautiful looking bird. But the good news is,
with the help of my wireless thermometer
and some science, I promise this video is not going to get too nerdy, you can get the perfect bird. In this video, I'm going to show you how to control and isolate your temperatures, so you don't have to compromise. I'm also going to talk about a sure way to ensure that your bird remains juicy and moist. And yes, along the way, I'll be sharing some chef secrets. Let's dive in. Let's dive into some chef secrets. The first one being salt brining. Salt brining literally performs magic on your bird. Not only is it infusing flavor that's guaranteed to be throughout the entire bird, it's actually softening it and giving you the best chance of it being juicy. What is salt brining? Well, it's actually very simple. Think of it as like a marinade, but you're using water and salt. Start off with a plastic bag or some kind of container. They sell brining bags, and I've always used those because when you're done with it, you can just toss everything away. I've seen people use food grade like containers, plastic containers. Those work well too. And of course, I'm gonna have links to everything that I'm talking about today in the description of this video. Place the bird in the bag and then submerge it with water. Now, the type of salt you use does matter. If you're using kosher salt, for example, kosher salt has less sodium concentration than table salt. It's just coarser, right? You're probably gonna need 2 cups of salt. But if you're using table salt, a cup is probably plenty. It also depends on how big your bird is. So there's a little bit of trial and error. You can find some tables and guides online. They'll give you a good ratio. Now, I don't stop there. I like to add in some herbs, crushed garlic, lemon juice, and even some basil leaves in there. I mean, might as well, right? These are flavors that I want to infuse inside of the turkey. After I've filled it all up and sealed it with the little plastic zip line thing that they include, make sure it's properly sealed. Take it and put it in your refrigerator. How long should you brine it for? The general rule of thumb is 2 hours per pound of turkey. I'm going to be brining mine for about 2 days, so you want to do this ahead of time. Once you're done, take the bird out, give it a little wash because it is a lot of salt and it has been brining for 2 days, so you don't want it to be too salty. Trust me, the flavor's still all there. You're not going to be washing the majority of the salt away, just the surface stuff that's going to be too salty. Clean the bird if you haven't already and season it with your favorite flavors. I'm going to add a lot of black pepper, some thyme, cinnamon, rosemary, and of course, a lot of paprika. The paprika is going to give that color that we want. Now, another crucial step, inject your bird. That's also going to add a ton of flavor along with the salt brine. I like to inject it with a compound butter, maybe some more spices, things like that. There's stuff that you can get off the shelf. Matter of fact, this injectable marinade is a very popular one, and they even include the syringe. When we're cooking up turkey, a lot of people have difficulty trying to keep the bird moist and juicy. There's a lot of different ways we can handle that, and today we're going to talk about all those ways. But ultimately, we need to monitor the breast, the white meat, and the dark meat, or the leg. Okay, so as I said in the intro, I will be using my Typhur Sync Gold. This is probably one of my favorite thermometers. If you guys haven't already, I've done a detailed video comparing all of the most popular thermometers, and the Typhur Sync Gold was just the best all-around thermometer that just worked. It offered one of the best apps, a great standalone base, 2 probes, with each having 5 internal sensors and 1 ambient sensor. And the best part of it all was the connection was extremely reliable. I love its sub 1G connection, which ensures that it's going to go through my oven reliably, or my pellet grill or smoker or whatever. In that video, I did test it out and it worked flawlessly. It has Wi-Fi connection, so I don't have to babysit it. I can look at the app on my phone and keep an eye on the bird, or it has a standalone base, and if I'm walking by or if I'm doing something else and I don't have my phone on me, I can easily glance at this beautiful display and see everything that's going on. Now, because we're going to be getting a little sciencey, and I promise I'm not going to get too nerdy in this video, I definitely need 2 probes, and I need those 5 internal sensors with its like 0.5 degree Fahrenheit precision. See, the goal today is to completely control the temperatures within the bird. One of the best ways to do that is spatchcocking your turkey. But come on, let's be real. We all want that perfect Thanksgiving presentation, and a spatchcocked turkey doesn't look as impressive as, well, the whole thing. So we're not going to do that today. But there's other methods we can explore. Another method is simply shielding the breast, wrapping it in aluminum foil. That kind of delays the cooking process a little bit. You can also just flip the bird upside down, right? Let the breast be on the bottom and cook it literally inverted. And that allows the breast to kind of be shielded naturally from your roasting pan, but also all of the juices will now drip down to the breast, right? Cooling it off and controlling the surface temperature. Those two methods are okay, but there's actually a much simpler method. We're gonna explore two simpler methods. If we start at different temperatures, then theoretically, the bird will be cooking at two different rates, as long as we control the oven temperature, the ambient temperature, keeping things low and slow. Not necessarily low and slow, but gentle cooking, around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or so. And then once we get to where we want to be, we can shoot up the temperatures and brown the bird a little bit and get that presentation that everyone wants to see. How do we do that? With the little help of this guy here, my friend Ice. Ice is actually a fantastic insulator. We're going to utilize ice, and we got to use a lot of it. We're basically going to shove some ice underneath the chicken breast, not only cooling it, but also refreshing the ice and shielding it temporarily just to get that temperature differential. Get them started at different paths. And once we do, that's where the Typhur Sync Gold comes in handy. Not only is it going to tell us the start of the internal temperatures for the breast and the leg, but we're going to be able to monitor the entire cooking process throughout. There's also another method, a method that I've covered previously, ignoring the USDA safe food guidance. That's right, the USDA safe temperatures, cooking your bird or your turkey to an internal temperature of 165 degrees or so, that's just the guidance. You can actually break that rule safely. See, the ideal temperature for turkey breast, ensuring that it stays moist and juicy and delicious, is around 150 degrees Fahrenheit or so. But for the leg, that's around 170 degrees Fahrenheit or so. I know what you're asking. Is it safe to ignore the USDA food safe guidelines? Yes, it is. As long as you are monitoring both temperature and time. There's a whole science behind it, and I've already done a video on it. I will link that video in the description of this one below, so you can check it out for yourself. Yes, you could use an instant read thermometer, but it's going to be way more cumbersome.
Once the science is down, now it's just all about execution. Cook the bird as you normally would. Make sure you baste it with that marinade and monitor the temperatures closely. Remember, start off with gentle cooking, around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or so, and then bump the temperatures up in the last hour to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so you can get that crispy skin. And just like that, the turkey was done. I can tell just by the smell that it was going to be delicious, and it was. This bird was tender, juicy, and extremely flavorful. One of the best Thanksgiving roasts I've done in a while. I usually like to deep fry my Thanksgiving turkey, but I think I'm going to be roasting it this year.
All right, so our bird is done, and this thing looks absolutely beautiful. It smells so good. It smells just like Thanksgiving, guys. And it looks like it came out of like a movie, Home Alone or something like that. The ice method, using ice to isolate the breast, worked exceptionally well. A little too well. There was a moment there where I thought, oh man, I'm in big trouble. It's cooking like 30 degrees below the leg, and I really thought that we were going to have some problems. But ultimately it did catch up. You just got to trust in the process. Again, science is cool. But let's take a minute and acknowledge just how well the Typhur Sync Gold performed. I mean, having those two probes, the 5 internal sensors, I never had a disconnect at all the entire process. And I was able to closely monitor the two temperatures and hit them precisely. Now, initially I was shooting for 170 degrees Fahrenheit for the legs and about 155 degrees Fahrenheit for the breast. The breast was right on target. The leg was a little tricky. And again, I think the ice method just worked really, really well. But I ended up taking it to 176, I think, or whatever it ended up being. And that's, trust me, that's good. The leg definitely has a little bit more wiggle room. The breast is a little bit more crucial, right? So we had to make sure we hit that 155 for the breast. The breast had to remain moist. But everything was right on schedule. I mean, it literally was just effortless. And that's kind of the MO of this thing. It's an all-in-one solution. It just works. I'm really happy I chose the Typhur Sync Gold for this cook, and I'm going to be using it again for the big day. If you guys are interested in buying one for yourself, there's a huge Black Friday sale going on right now. You can definitely get it before Thanksgiving, and it's going to arrive just in time. It's usually around $230. They do have it on sale for $149, $150. But there's a link in the description below where they're going to take off another 10%. That puts the Typhur Gold at $134. I've never seen it that low, and honestly, it's a no-brainer at that price. So to summarize, today I demonstrated multiple ways to cook the perfect Thanksgiving turkey. Just remember, give yourself a fighting chance. Make sure you salt brine for at least 2 days. Make sure you season generously, and it's never a bad idea to inject some marinade into the bird. It's just going to add more flavor. Hope you guys found this video informative and entertaining. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how your Thanksgiving bird went. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care.